Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, April 27th, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Today, Parliament held the third round for the elections of the new president. As in the other two rounds, no candidates were presented, as the majority is waiting for the opposition to propose a candidate who will also have the opposition's consensus. However, the chairman of the Socialist Parliamentary Group, Gramos Rucci, speaking in Parliament today, showed that the Socialist Party will no longer wait and that this is the time that Parliament will vote for the new president. Mr. Rucci told the government's allies, Mr. Ilir Meta, that the Socialist Party has the necessary 71 votes to vote for the new president, even without the Socialist Movement for Integration. Mr. Rucci stated, "The time for dialogue has finished. This Parliament should elect the new president. We, the Socialist Party, have 71 votes, even without the Socialist Movement for Integration. But I hope you will not force us to violate the moral of this party. Mr. Parliament Speaker, it's up to you, as a dialogist between the parties, to make a decision. Let the Conference of Chairmen gather, and tomorrow we hold the last two rounds and elect the new president, or we go to early elections." He also spoke of the discussions with the two German negotiators, considering their proposals to postpone the elections and to make changes in government to be absurd. Mr. Rucci added that the Parliament Speaker, Mr. Meta, was happy when he listened to the German negotiators' requests, saying, "The Germans asked us something they would never do in their own country, to postpone elections and to change the government. For what reason? To stop the opposition from crying? This is in fact asking for the penalty, the ball, and the empty net. You, Mr. Parliament Speaker, seemed very happy at the meeting." The Prime Minister did not say anything, neither yes nor no, but he implied that we are ready to discuss with only one condition, for the Democratic Party to come and vote on vetting. Mr. Rucci then issued another criticism to the Assembly Speaker, declaring that he has been biased while heading the plenary session, giving more time to the opposition. After the speech of the chairman of the Socialist Parliamentary Group in the plenary session, the conference chairman gathered and decided to hold the fourth round for the election of the new president tomorrow at 5 p.m. President of the Republic, Bujar Nishani, is now involved in the political crisis. Last night, he held a meeting with Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta, and today he received the DP chairman in his office. There is no official declaration of the meeting's details, and it is not known whether the president will take any role to resolve the crisis, but this is the first meeting the president has held with the DP chairman in the 70 days the opposition has been protesting. Some sources told the Aura News that the political situation was the subject of discussion between the president and the DP chairman. The president has not yet made his stance public regarding the current political crisis. After the meeting with the president, the Democratic Party chairman held a meeting with the former Prime Minister, Sali Berisha. After the meeting, he had this to say: "Elections will not be held without the opposition in Albania, not this year nor in 10 or 100 years. The new Albanian generation will not allow this in Kavaja or anywhere in Albania. There will not be elections without the opposition, and so they are dictated by crime. Albania will be liberated by the dictatorship of crime." Meanwhile, the DP chairman also held meetings with the chairman of DP branches and the DP mayors, with whom he discussed an escalation of protests. The DP chairman has asked them to start preparing the protest in Kavaja before May 7th, when the local elections for the new mayor are scheduled to be held. Some sources told Aura News that the protest in Kavaja will start a day before election day, and the blocking of election materials will be attempted. Prime Minister Edi Rama declared from the plenary session that the elections will be held on June 18th, and vowed that the majority will guarantee an honest electoral process, saying, "The deadline to register candidates for June 18th elections ends on April 29th. We will respect the deadline and also the election date set by the President, based on the Constitution. Elections will be held on June 18th. There is no place for games, and the time for dialogue is expiring. Some speak of political crises, some of a crisis, but to me, this is only the Democratic Party's mental crisis." Commenting on the negotiations with the opposition made with the mediation of the members of European Parliament, the Prime Minister said that the DP chairman refused the draft presented for the solution of the political impasse, declaring, We welcomed the European Parliament envoys and accepted the platform of compromise presented by them. After meeting with the DP chairman, they proposed a dialogue meeting. We went to meet and talk with them without conditions, but unfortunately, the Democratic Party chairman was not there. The negotiators made two proposals, postponing elections to July 16th and the opportunity to make changes to the government, in the crucial position where the government's influence to elections is direct. I did not say yes or no, but I only said we are open to negotiate, but we cannot discuss without vetting. The former Prime Minister, Sali Berisha, today warned the Prime Minister not to go into elections without the opposition. Mr. Berisha declared that the DP supporters are ready to give their life in order to protect their vote, stating, "Do not dare take any step without the opposition toward the elections, because you will have a fatal end, just as you deserve. Do not think that you can represent the citizens' vote, because they are determined to give their life, but not the vote. For you if you continue with this path." According to Berisha, the resignation of Prime Minister is the only solution. The former Prime Minister said that the civil disobedience has already started and it will remove the current Prime Minister. Mr. Berisha called on youth to stay away from drugs and added that the opposition's battle is being made for them. Democratic MPs gave their speeches at the protesters' tent and declared that the opposition will not withdraw its condition for the establishment of a provisional government. Today, Prime Minister Edi Rama attended the Vocational Education Fair, where he announced that vetting is necessary to increase foreign investments in the country, adding that the determination to unblock the process, declaring, "We can realize vocational education, but we cannot increase foreign investments without the judicial reform. Foreign investors can have 1,001 reasons to see Albania as a country of opportunities, but they have a reason to be afraid, because when they come here to invest, someone appears saying that I am the judge and I can undo everything you do. We are determined to unblock the vetting process as soon as possible. It will be made." Prime Minister Rama stated that the improvement of vocational education can reduce the unemployment level for youth in the country. He said that the unemployment level among the young people is the highest and that it is inherited from the past. The Prime Minister announced that work has started for 6 excellent schools, an investment of €30 million. In the same line with the Prime Minister, the Minister of Social Welfare highlighted youth training so that they can respond to the labor market needs. Today, the French court in Colmar released the former Prime Minister of Kosovo, Ramush Haradinaj, refusing Serbia's request for extradition. The court session lasted only a few minutes, and according to the court's decision, Haradinaj is free to return to Kosovo. Mr. Haradinaj was arrested by the French authorities on January 4th based on an international arrest warrant issued by Serbia in 2004 for alleged war crimes against Serbia. The former Prime Minister of Kosovo had this to say, "The procedure was closed. The request for an extradition was refused. Now I am free to return to Kosovo. I will go to Strasbourg to get my passport back, and then I will hopefully return to Kosovo. 4 months have passed, and time is valuable. Albanian people have won this battle. Thank you for your support." The court's decision was welcomed with applause by Haradinaj's supporters. The Albanian Prime Minister has welcomed Haradinaj's release on Twitter, writing, "Welcome Ramush, once again victorious in our Pristina." Speaker of the Parliament, Ilir Meta, also welcomed the French court's decision, saying, "Ramush Haradinaj gained his freedom after a record of sacrifices for freedom. I welcome this final verdict, even though it is delayed." The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a press release, welcomed and greeted the decision of the French court. Albanian Foreign Minister Bushati greeted the decision, saying, "Justice delays but does not forget. Welcome home, Ramush Haradinaj." The Ministry of Foreign Affairs considers the decision to be a victory of truth and justice to the completely unfounded and politically motivated allegations. The ministry calls on Serbia to withdraw from using arrest warrants as a pressure form towards Kosovo. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Cosmo, and on behalf of OR News, thank you and good night.